This is Earl Amin with the 2020 Foresight Podcast, where CEOs of small to global companies share their insights. It is 6 questions in 9 minutes because top CEOs know how to listen and be concise. So let's get to it. First of all, welcome. And in just a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Francis with Assured Assisted Living, the owner and CEO of an environment where we create residential assisted livings for older adults to enable them to age in place in more of a traditional type neighborhood, yet giving them all the support and features for them to thrive on a daily basis.
Outstanding. Outstanding. And thank you for that.
Thank you. We've got a
So,
great team.
indeed, I'm sure you do. So, in your business, what's the best thing about being the CEO?
The ability to impact people is very important. We're able to have a positive impact not only on our staff, but on the residents and also their families. An often potentially overlooked component is supporting families throughout this aging process.
Indeed, indeed. Now, I hear from other CEOs in your space that leading the team and being able to see the road ahead can sometimes be very challenging. What are your thoughts?
I think if anything proved for 2020 and moving forward is adaptability is very critical. As much as we might want to forecast and plan, which I think are very important to be that navigator of the direction of the organization, we often have to be ready to adapt to things that we can't plan for. And this COVID pandemic was a prime example of the ability to be flexible and be responsive and proactive to change. I believe is one of the most critical elements of a leader in any organization.
I cannot help but agree. And so, based on that, what piece of insight do you want to share with other CEOs?
I would say adapt and overcome. That's been our philosophy for the 11 years we've been doing this is looking at challenges that we know are going to come down the table and anticipate those, and then be prepared to adapt earlier than maybe we want to, or we're ready to be required to, whether it's a regulatory issue. We've been using the philosophy for 2021 is getting comfortable being uncomfortable. That's been a really key component for where we are today, is just knowing that we're going to have to make some decisions that we might not be comfortable with, but they're the right decisions to make because it moves our organization forward. It's better for our team. It's better for our residents. And I think that's sometimes hard is being able to accept making decisions, maybe with not all the information, but with the information you have at that time and trusting that decision.
Agreed. Well said. So, you've been in business for 11 years now. I'm sure you met and know and have interacted with other successful CEOs like yourself. Which of those would you like to acknowledge here and now and should be on my podcast?
Catherine Wells has been a really big impact in my life. She is the founder and CEO of Serenity Engage. It's a HIPAA compliant messaging app that enables facilities and residences to stay connected to families, not through a traditional text messaging, but where you can do video updates and text messages and photos and having a back and forth exchange. It's been a godsend to our organization during COVID when we haven't been able to visit in person, yet we can still share updates. And just her philosophy on creative approaches, because her parents both were aging and have sadly since passed, but she was really in that sandwich generation, which I saw firsthand from my mother, was just that stress on them. And she took that and said, you know what, I want to have a different option available for other families. And that was very inspirational from, the honor to get to know her and work with her in collaboration for the last several years.
Indeed. We would certainly welcome her into the
Awesome.
podcast. Thank you.
Awesome.
So, for the final question, how do you celebrate a win?
Whew. that I'm a big believer that we need to be celebrating collectively. And it's not just a win from the upper management or from the ownership or anything like that. It's really looking at who has contributed to that win. Because in order to do what we do on a daily basis, it's really about the people and around us. It's who can we educate? Who can we coach up? Who can we help get better every day to have these wins? And I think ways you can do it is acknowledging the success of the organization through collaboration with other team members, is maybe having some of your top performers or your top staff members get acknowledged individually, have different levels of celebration so that it is part of the collective group, but you also highlight those individuals that go above and beyond so that you foster that culture of constant improvement where you're not being accepting of the status quo, but looking at how you can have a positive impact on everyone and how can we get better tomorrow and how can we do better for our older adults that are aging, because God willing, we're all getting older, and I would like us all to look forward to the opportunities we have as we age.
We appreciate very much that you're doing this good work.
Well, thank you. We've got, like I said, it's been a blessing. I saw a lot from my grandparents, my grandfathers especially, and wanted to really have a positive impact again on the people around us, because I think it's important to honor older adults and learn from them. There's so much wisdom out there that with the pace we are in our society that we want to rush. And I think we need to step back and look at our older adults who have so much knowledge, but not only that, they have that wisdom, that experience to share, which is so important in the world today.
Indeed. Francis, it's been a pleasure having you on. How can people find you?
They can reach out to my email, Francis, Francis, at assuredal.com, ASSURED as in David, A as in Alpha, L as in Lima.com, or give me a call, 303-814-2688. Happy to share my experience, help out in any way possible, or anybody that's curious about what aging services or senior living looks like. I'm more than welcome to share and see how we can collaborate for a better future.
Indeed. Thank you for that. This is Earl Amin with the 2020 Foresight Podcast. For more insights, go to LinkedIn and search for the Gray Owl Company. Francis, thank you so very much.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the opportunity.